All right, time to get started. Seems like we're missing a bunch of people, but oh, okay. She feeling sick or what's going on? Oh, just later. Okay. So the questions here are a little out of order. The first, well, no, the picture is out of order. The first one says, "What does the colorful diagram on the right represent?" And it's really hard for me to make the diagram big enough without the picture going away. So take a look at this, just in case you can't read it. Back there, it's got millions of years ago over here, 1.8, 5.3, 23, 33.9, all the way down to 0.542. So that's, wait a second. Seems like something switched here. This was getting bigger. 199, 2,522. Then we have 0.299, 0.318, 0.359, 0.2. There are two decimals in there. That's craziness. Anyway, ignore that 0.2. What do you think's going on here? I just noticed this. Why are the numbers smaller? These are getting older, right? I think they just switched in the middle to billions of years. So somewhere around here, maybe around here or here. I think they switched. No, actually, I think they switched right here. This is it. So they're going up to 1.8 billion years ago, then all the way up to 252.2 years ago. I think there's a decimal hidden in there. 299 years ago, or million years ago. And then this will be 0.318 billion, which is the same thing as 318 million. Oh, you know, actually, I think that I'm just crazy here. I think these dashes at the beginning, are those negatives? Or are those just dashes? I thought these were dashes, and then suddenly these look like dots. It kind of works out, though. If this is 542 million years ago, that's the same as 0.542 billion years ago. Oh, well. So we've got all these names for different periods of time. Around 1.8 million years ago was the beginning of the Pleistocene and the end of the Pliocene period. And then there's this big period called the Cenozoic, which takes place from 65 million years ago to today. Over here, there's the big extinction. And I forget what the TK stands for. I was going to say Tertiary and Cretaceous, but Cretaceous with the C, so I don't really know. But does anybody know what scientists think happened about 65 million years ago to cause a really big extinction? If you look at this, here's what's the thing? That dinosaur with the plume going back. Anybody know what it's called? What's that? I think the Triceratops has, yeah, that has kind of a shield thing and some other horns. This is I don't know if this is a duck-billed thing. Maybe that's it. Yeah. So let's do dinosaur. I'm getting a little distracted, but that's okay. Dinosaur, I'll just, Parasaurolophus, maybe? I think that could be it. Yeah, that's it. So it's a Parasaurolophus. Good job. You know your dinosaurs. So there's a Parasaurolophus skull or remnant. And then this looks, I don't know, some big toothy dinosaur. So there were a bunch of really big dinosaurs here. And then there was this big extinction. And then the fossils are smaller for a while. So overall, I never really let everybody answer. This is the fossil record. And when we apply the principle of faunal succession, the idea is that we're using this record of fossils that existed over time. So these are trilobites, and they only exist a really long time ago, like 542 million years ago. So if you find some rock with those in them, it's really old. And if you had this with you, you could go out and chip on rocks and say, hey, I have something that looks like this. So maybe it's around 145 to 200 million years ago. Years old. Apparently there was another gigantic extinction here too, at the end of the Paleozoic period. So the kinds of life that existed through here and the kinds of life that existed through there, probably there was some big change. I think this is when the big dinosaurs existed. And then there was the extinction, and then sort of, some people call some of this the age of mammals. And I was looking to see if we have a human buried in there, but I don't really see any. No buried humans. And then back here, really long time ago, there's really not much. There were just some kind of wormy looking fossils. Those were the first fossils anybody's ever found. So that's just a picture of the fossil record. Now, yesterday when I was telling you about fossils, I was really just describing one kind. I felt kind of silly after that. So question number 2 says, what are molds and casts and how do they relate to fossils? Let me zoom out a bit. Or maybe zoom in. This is weird. Earlier, this picture was down on the bottom and these were up on the top. At any rate, oh, there we go. So one of these is a mold and one of them is a cast. Can you see any difference from where you are? Yeah.
One of them is indented into the rock and the other is sticking up.
Right. So the one on the left, that's the mold. And some fossils are just molds. I was giving you the impression that a fossil is always a cast, but a fossil is just some kind of evidence left in rock that some living creature was there. So this could be some shell that got buried and it got covered in mud and the mud compressed and then turned into sedimentary rock and then the shell just dissolved and left that around. So it would have been a hollow space that might have filled in with other stuff, but maybe not. So if you pulled up that rock and looked at it, you'd see this imprint. And then this must have actually formed inside this mold. So this is the mold that got squished in there. Then the animal got dissolved, and then some other stuff filled in the space. It could have been really sludgy mud or sand or something that hardened, or it could have been water that had minerals in it that crystallized, but this is what filled in the space. Has anybody seen, there are a couple of examples of this. Have anybody ever seen the people who were buried under Mount Vesuvius? I'll just do Mount Vesuvius bodies. So Mount Vesuvius was a felsic eruption, and it buried a bunch of people just really rapidly, just so fast that some of them probably didn't even change their expressions. And nobody really knew about this. So this was in Pompeii, and these people were, oh, Sully's here. Hi, Sully. These people were buried just really quickly in hot ash, and the hot ash solidified around them, probably burned them up, or even if it didn't burn them up, eventually the people dissolved and just went away. And then when archaeologists were studying this area, they started digging and they started finding these holes. And the holes were where the people were. So they filled the holes with plaster, and then the plaster hardened, and then they dug everything away, and this is what they found. So this is like the anthill thing that I was showing you yesterday, except instead of pouring molten aluminum down into the anthill and they poured liquid plaster down there into the holes where the people had been, and that's what they got. And I think there was a Chinese army like this. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? The Chinese soldiers? Let me see. This was, let me do buried Chinese army plaster. I think they did the same kind of thing. Except, no. I'm getting totally mixed up. These were actually warriors made of clay to begin with. Yeah, let's read about this. This is I'm barking up the wrong tree here, but let's read about it real quickly so we can all learn a little bit of interesting history. Hey Tommy, your mic's on. I don't know if you know that.
Oh,
So it's okay though. I'm just letting you know. So these were terracotta sculptures depicting the armies of Qin Shi Huang, first emperor of China, a form of funerary art buried with the emperor with the purpose of protecting him in the afterlife. Okay, all right. I was getting those mixed up. So the people buried in Mount Vesuvius, totally different thing. They were just killed by this eruption, and then archaeologists filled the holes that their molds with plaster to make casts. So these are the plaster casts made from the molds. All right. Oh, and petrified wood. Does anybody know what petrified wood really is? Have you seen it? Looks like wood, but it feels like what? So I had a link to it. Petrified wood is, as far as I know, it's kind of it would be a cast. Yeah, it's wood. Let's go to Wikipedia. So here's a picture of it, and there's a picture of some too. And the way I understand it is it's wood that gets buried, and then the surrounding material makes a cast, and then over time the wood gets replaced by minerals. So let's see what Wikipedia says. From the Latin root meaning rock or stone, literally wood turned to stone, and the name given to a specialized fossil remains of terrestrial vegetation. So terrestrial means on land, vegetations, plants. Petrifaction is the result of a tree or tree-like plants having been replaced by stone via mineralization. That often includes permineral, don't worry about that, and replacement. So they're just saying the wood gets buried, and over time the wood goes away, but minerals move into the space between the grains of wood before the wood's totally dissolved. So it preserves the wood grain and everything, and all these cracks. So it gets, basically the wood gets soaked in water that's rich in minerals. The minerals harden, the wood then dissolves away and just leaves the stone, which you can polish, and it looks really cool. But that's just another example of a fossil. All right, last, I'm curious. Soli and Tommy, you're the only ones who are actually there with your cameras off right now, but I want to know why you don't want your camera on. And first, this is a very important note. I don't care if you're not paying attention during a meet. I really don't care. If you want to just sit there in your room and do stuff on your phone or paint or go to sleep in your bed, that's up to you. My job is to try to teach you, but I want to know if you're not paying attention, because then I won't call on you and waste everybody's time. But for me to say, okay, I'll make somebody up. Bartholomew, what's the answer? And I don't know. I don't know if Bartholomew's even in the house anymore. It just has this little circle there. So I'm going to go, well, maybe I won't put people on the spot, but I want to know why you don't want your cameras on. And if you can't think of any good reason, then you should just turn your cameras on. So does anybody have a reason? Why, or you could tell me why you think other people don't want to turn their cameras on. Anna.
For me, it just feels like you said, just looking out and just like you don't look very good.
You're just not looking great in the morning?
Like if I have to have my camera on, then it's fine. Like, it doesn't really matter.
You could do it, you just prefer not to because you're just feeling like, I don't want people to see me this time of day.
Yeah.
Any other ideas? Is it a messy room for anybody? Or are you worried somebody's going to see your room and, oh, look at that. Person's living in a sty. Because you can, I'm pretty sure now you can make a background. Yeah, change background. So right now I'm going to change my background. Let's see. There. I know you can't see it, but I've got some sort of water background now. What's that? You can't use it?
No, it's just like, I don't know, it's
Uh-huh. Well, I wish there was some way that I could look at you without looking at you, I guess. But I don't know, I don't really see any solution there. But I know when I'm at a staff meeting, we have these staff meetings. We had one yesterday, and they kind of want us to have our cameras on, and I don't want my camera on. And the reason I don't want my camera on is I don't really want to pay attention. I really don't. And I don't want them to know I'm not paying attention. But I want you to know I don't care. I just want to know who's paying attention, because that'll save me a lot of time. Clearly, not everybody is, because I'll say, hey, but Bertha, what's the answer to this? And there's no Bertha. Bertha doesn't respond. Bertha, you there? Hello? And I get nothing. So it's just frustrating. So if you can maybe get up 5 minutes earlier, fix your hair, or put on a big hat. Everybody you could wear a Halloween mask. That'd be weird. Something. Try to come up with some solution so that you can have your camera on, so I can tell if people are listening. Like, after this long time, there must be a strong reason to not want to do it. After this rant, Sully and Tommy still have their cameras off. My physics students, I understand, Sully. Tommy, what's your excuse? I don't know.
I'm always like there.
He's at a loss of words.
No, like the reason I don't is because I do, but I'm always paying attention, like I'm not just like doing something else. Except if I'm like really I'm super secure in like what you're teaching me, and I get it. So then I'll be just like on my phone maybe, but like I'll still be there to answer questions, and also I just don't like. I mean,
Okay.
I'm usually in bed. Yeah.
Okay, so how about this? If you're not going to have your cameras on, could you all at least try to be more responsive? Like, be ready. Be ready to just unmute and answer if I call on you. All right? Okay, so I'll just keep looking at your circles for now. So today, I want to go over the homework, and then you've got one last little practice to do relating to rock dating. This rock dating stuff isn't very long. And then you're going to have a quiz. Gold people, you've got your test today over plate tectonics, some of you. But then you're going to have a quiz tomorrow over rock dating and the rock cycle. So I'll do a little bit of briefing you on that. Over on my other screen, I've got the answers to the homework. If you want to get your Chromebook out so you can compare yours, do that. And I don't know where I put it. Got it somewhere over here. You get your, I'll be able to find it. Just get yours out and I'll be with you in a second. Ah, there we go. So I think this was the one that you were working on last night. And I made one more just in case people need more practice. If you feel like you just don't need any more practice, you've got this, and you don't want to do the one today, you can just mark it complete. But I think you probably should, because you're going to have a real quiz over this tomorrow. So I can't fit everything in the screen at once, but I'm just going to go through the order of all this stuff right here. The lowest thing is F. So F is the oldest. And then moving up from that, we've got H and D, but D cuts through H, so H was there first. So we've got F, then H, then D, and then I, and then C, which cuts through I, comes later, and then J, and then G, and then of B, E, and A, B is there first because both of the other ones cut through it. E comes next because it's broken by the earthquake, so it was there when the earthquake happened. And then A has to be next because it's not broken. And then finally K. So the order, if you want to check this, and did anybody notice I'd already given you this before? We've done this one before. FHD, ICJ, G, B, E, A, K. So that was the order. And on the quiz tomorrow, you're going to have to do this, and then I'm going to ask you questions like, which layer is barely older than H? And if I asked you that, which one's barely older than H, what would you tell me? What letter? Here's the older end, here's the younger end, so would it be F or would it be D? It's F. And if I asked you which one's barely younger than H, it would be D. So this is kind of a weird thing to grade. If you get one thing out of place, it can screw up a bunch of other ones. But so it's better if I just ask you questions like, okay, E, which one's barely older than E? And that would be B. And which one's barely younger than E? And that would be A. So you'll have 5 questions like that, or sorry, 5 sets of questions. So there'll be 10 questions in all relating to that one. Then the second thing you're supposed to do is highlight the earthquake fault. So E and A, those are the ones that happen on either side of the earthquake. The earthquake came right after E and right before A, so I highlighted those. The fossils, if there are any fossils, describe those. So I found a fish in layer I, and a trilobite in H. And you can call it whatever you want. It kind of looks like a bug, but there are the bugs in H, and there are the fish in I. And then the next step was to put these in order. This is maybe the trickiest step. I'm telling you that D and C and E and A are 2 million years, 5, 8, and 11 million years old. But I'm not telling you which is which. So it could be that D is 2, or maybe D is 5, or maybe D is 8, or maybe it's 11. You have to put them in order. This is the part where if we did absolute dating, you would be doing graphs and stuff and math to figure this out. But here I'm just making you work a little bit for it. So what I did is I highlighted D, C, E, and A. And then I looked on my list. D is the oldest. So that's the one that's got to be the oldest, 11 million years. And A is the youngest, so 2 million years goes with A. Hey, Jace. And then E is the second youngest, so it's 5, and C is the second oldest, so it's 8. And then finally, once you get that, once you have this table right, number 5 isn't too bad. You really just use your table. So how long ago did the earthquake create the fault? In the top of the diagram, choose a possible age. Well, the earthquake came right between E and A, so it's got to be something between 2 and 5 million years. And 4 is the only one that works. And for layer L, that's not in the picture up here. But if you go down to figure 2, layer L has the fish fossil. And the fish occurred right here in history between 8 million years and 11. So that layer L's got to be something that's between 8 and 11, so it's 9. And then finally for layer M, same kind of thing. It's got the bug fossil, and the bug fossil, the trilobite, existed in layer H, which is older than 11. That's all we know is it's older than 11. So I need to pick something older than 11. Any questions about that? So people who are all done with the test, there's one more of these for you to do in Google Classroom. And that's the assignment today. But like I said, if you feel like this is just beating a dead horse, you've got this, there's no problem, you're going to ace the quiz tomorrow, you can just mark it done. But it's there for you for practice. I'll show you what it looks like. Google Classroom, classwork. I think this is it right here, rock dating practice. So I've given you this, which you make a copy of and do. This is it. And then there's this, which is the answers. So you can check your answers after you're done. And before we take the actual quiz tomorrow, if you got anything wrong, ask me about those, or you could email me. And this is what we're doing right now. Somebody's already turned it in. You're already done, and I'm not even finished. It's very interesting. You know you're going to finish, though. So let's see. Gold class, we're going to do the plate tectonics test. Everybody, the blue people, and I wonder if the blue people can even see me anymore. I kind of minimized there. Tommy and Sully, have you been able to see me the whole time?
Yeah.
Good. All right. So you two are going to have a quiz on Monday over rock dating and the rock cycle, except Tommy, you don't have to do the rock dating part, or sorry, the rock cycle part, because you got that taken care of on Tuesday. People in here, you're going to have both kinds of things on the quiz. So if you two want to go, you can. I just want to show the people in here one more thing. Oops, those are the answers. Let's see, go to my drive. And I did a practice quiz it's sort of an impromptu quiz with the blue people. I'm going to give you that quiz now over the rock cycle, just to remind you of what you're up against. Hopefully I can search it this way. Rock. Actually, you know what? I think I can get into slides, and it'll show me my recent slides. Here we go. All right. So get ready. Here's practice quiz for everyone. Think about this. I'll go back and tell you the answers in a little while. What rock type is formed when another rock melts and then cools and hardens? 3 different rock types. And actually, for the other class, I gave them a little word bank for this. So the 3 rock types are sedimentary, igneous, and metamorphic. You've got a 1 in 3 chance. All right, here's the next question. Ooh, I guess I can't do that. What rock type is, sorry. What rock type is formed when another rock breaks into little tiny pieces that are then compressed together to make new rock? Do you know? Third question, what rock type is formed by when another rock changed by being either heated, I guess I should say changes, by either being heated but not melted, or by being smashed and twisted? So those are the 3 rock types, and here are 3 other questions kind of about the rock types again. What type of rock is this, if you had to guess of those 3? Think about that. All right. What type of rock is going to be made when what you see here is compressed? You compressed everything that you see here. What type of rock would that make? And finally, what type of rock is about to form here? So let's do these in reverse order. What kind of rock is about to form? Anybody? Just blurt it out. You can say it. Igneous. So when you melt something and cool it, it's igneous. And this is going to turn to sedimentary. This is sediment right now. It's sand, and when it compresses, it'll make sandstone. This is metamorphic. It's been smashed and twisted and probably not melted. If it were melted and then cooled, it would be more uniform. All these different colors would be all sort of mixed up into one continuous color. Which one is formed when you heat something but you don't melt it, or you smash it and twist it? Metamorphic. And you break something into little pieces and compress it? Sedimentary. So melt and harden is igneous. So your quiz tomorrow is going to have 2 parts. It'll have a part like this, which will be kind of short, maybe 6 questions total, but maybe just 3, because there are 3 rock types. And then you'll have some rock dating questions. All right. Time to get going on the other test. Oh, let me give these back to Cassidy and Jace. So you don't have to do this again if you want to try it. But I need to know how many people are taking each version so I can make some copies for you. So raise your hand if you want to take the 100% version where you draw it all. So one of those, I'll just give you this one. How many people want to do the medium one where you get 95% of everything? 1, 2, 3. That's it? Okay. And how many people want to do the other one, 80%? So Richard or RJ, what are you going to do? What? And Reagan, which one are you doing? Okay, so I'm going to get 4 of each of those, and I'll be back. And if I don't, the tape is on the back table, and there's extra paper there. But it looks like you got some. You can use the paper you got. Okay. So, did you decide which one you wanted? You just said either one? You want to do that? Tell me if you give me the wrong one. Who else wanted the medium one? Yeah. What? Yeah. If you look in the top right drawer of the desk. That's it. So the paper's back there.
This one?
Yeah. And if there's not one in there, we can look in a different drawer. No. Oh, okay. Let me unplug my laptop so you can use the pencil sharpener.